tough for UMBC, John. They may have run out of gas in the second half.
Yeah, they had a 6-game winning streak. Then they had to go on the road to Mass Lowell, which is always their kryptonite, it seems, and fell apart in the second half. Mass Lowell shot superbly. And then they went to UNH, which was looking for revenge after the game in here 2 weeks ago. And UNH took over down the stretch and won that game too.
Stony Brook comes in. They have the #1 rebounder in the league at Tyke Green. That's a story. We're going to talk about that. They have the #3 scorer in the league in Anthony Roberts. And the Retrievers have one of the best ball handlers in the league. We're talking about Darnell Rogers. UMBC in the home white. They get the opening tip. And they swing it around here to the near side for Nathan Johnson, who is in the starting lineup for the 9th straight game now for UMBC. The Retrievers are 6-2 in that span, and Yao Obang-Mensah gets it started for UMBC.
Normally, that's a shot that the defense will give Yao Obang-Mensah from 15 feet, but he looks smooth swishing that shot.
Obang-Mensah, a junior from Toronto, Ontario, the 11th best rebounder in the league, and the answer for Stony Brook right away, and we are tied at 2.
No shock that Roberts gets the first basket, picking up right where he left off at Maine on Sunday.
Anthony Roberts, 40, as we mentioned, 28 the game before, 68 for the week, player of the week, 3rd leading scorer in the conference. Johnson with a trip to the basket, and that one is denied. And the rebound pulled down by Frankie Policelli, who can get up himself. And here's Jaden Sales now in the starting lineup for Stony Brook. Little pull-up in the lane is short. And Johnson there for the rebound in front of Policelli.
And this is a very different Stony Brook team than the one UMBC lost to up on Long Island back in January. We'll talk about that as the game goes along.
DeAndre Kennedy, the leading scorer for UMBC with the basketball. A season-low 4 points last time out against Stony Brook. The Seawolves won that game by 14.
Neither team shot well in that game.
Now Kennedy, little floater from the left side is good. Retrievers back in the lead.
Team starting out a lot hotter than they did on Long Island. In that game, UMBC shot 5 for 26 from the floor, and Stony Brook was 4 for 19 on threes, I mean. Bad numbers for both teams. Stony Brook just got a few more rebounds, 45-34, and that was really the difference in the game.
Here's Sales with an elbow jumper over Obang-Mensah, and we're tied at 4. What a strange journey it's been for Stony Brook this season, John. They started off so well, ran into a buzzsaw in Vermont, and then no more playoffs for them.
Yeah, everybody runs into a buzzsaw in Vermont, it seems, when they're healthy. But you're right. 5 games ago, they found out that because they're leaving the league, and there's a wide-open jump shot by DeAndre Kennedy, that they would not be allowed to play in postseason. And Gino Ford told me that they found out 4 hours before a game against Binghamton, and he said he had trouble getting his players on the court that night, and they got blown out, not surprisingly. But they lost 3 in a row after the announcement, and then they bounced back to win the last 2.
Tyke Green for 3, and that answers it from Owens. And we're tied up at 7. Tyke Green is listed at 6'4".
Nowhere close to it.
Not sure about that, but he is the #1 rebounder in the conference.
Gino Ford says he might be 6'2". Had 12 rebounds in the first game against UMBC.
Green is also the #1 offensive rebounder in the conference, and Obang-Mensah is #2. Kennedy all the way to the basket.
Yeah, good call.
And a turnover called on UMBC.
And Gino Ford said, Jim Ferry said to me that Green is what he calls an undersized monster, because he reminds me a little bit of Khalid Thompson? Jahil Thompson. Jahad Thompson. Thomas, I'll get it right eventually. Fourth try is the charm. Who was also 6'2", who played at Mass Lowell and led the league in rebounding.
Policelli with the basket here, and the Seawolves lead at 9-7. Johnson for 3 off the heel of the basket. Sales pulls it down underneath. We should also mention Stony Brook. We talked about the strange journey. Elijah Olaniyi no longer with the team. Jaleel Jenkins, a great transfer from the Northeast Conference, also going to be out for a while.
Yeah, he probably won't play again, according to Gino Ford. He had his wisdom teeth taken out a couple games ago. There's Owens with a deep 3.
2 for 2 now for L.J. Owens, a transfer himself from William and Mary.
A lot of transfers in college basketball these days.
Owens was 2 for 7 in the opener against this team. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
As I said, everybody shot poorly. UMBC shot 30% for that game. He scored 51 points. They averaged over 70.
Sales off glass and in. He took Obeng Mensah to the basket.
Sales off to a great start.
That's going to be a tough matchup for Obeng Mensah. Look at the size of Sales.
Long arms.
Sales with 4, Stony Brook by 1. Kennedy pull up, that will go out, saved in the corner by Policelli. Under 16 now to go here in the first half. Nice move by Policelli to the basket, left side, good dump inside. And it'll be out of bounds off of Stevenson Moore, and it'll be UMBC basketball when we return. But let's take a look here. L.J. Owens off to a hot start for the Retrievers. One of the best three-point shooters in the conference in general, shows us why.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Drive, the best pre-owned vehicles. Drive with 0.99.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Do you think any of us will look back in our lives and regret the things we didn't buy?
What does this win mean?
Been with the family for a long time. With our team chemistry, it was better.
They said it couldn't be done, but somehow Cross Country Mortgage was able to close this home in.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Do you think any of us will look back in our lives and regret the things we didn't buy?
Hey guys, Gronk here, calling a 30-second hair huddle.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Nothing like a buzzer beater in basketball, and John, Stony Brook had 3 games in a row.
Yeah, after they got blown out by Binghamton, they lose at the buzzer to NJIT on that three-point shot. Then they lose to New Hampshire on a putback of a three-point shot missed. And Gino Ford said they didn't deserve to win either of those games, by the way. In fact, he quoted Mike Krzyzewski after the second one. And here, they win at the buzzer thanks to a great drive by Anthony Roberts, who's been terrific all season long. And Gino Ford said after that loss to New Hampshire, he saw Mike Krzyzewski quoted that night after a loss saying, well, we didn't deserve to win. We didn't play well enough to be worthy of winning. He said that was us. But they have since bounced back and won their last 2 games, and they're back in second place in the conference. And I did ask him, I said, if you guys finish second in the conference, do you think your school would consider paying to play in either the CIT and the CBI? He said, that hasn't even come up. He said, I'd like to put us in a position to deserve it, but it hasn't even been discussed.
Well, like UMBC, this Stony Brook team built on transfers. You just saw Anthony Roberts in the picture. Roberts himself a transfer from Kent State University, averaged about 12.5 points a game as a junior. Nathan Johnson here, a baseline, or I should say Simon Wojcik, a baseline jumper. And that one is no good. Johnson tried for the rebound, denied. Here's Stevenson for Stony Brook. That is short.
That's a quick shot.
And Rogers runs it down in the corner.
You've got to convert on defense when Rogers has the ball.
And that's why. Rogers, a left-handed shot from the right-hand side.
Technically, they stop the ball, but when Rogers gets to the three-point line and he's open, that's not stopping the ball. And everybody knows that.
Three-pointer number 42 for Darnell Rogers. You know the story, 5'2", 150. The shortest player in the NCAA hasn't seemed to stop him. Wojcik on the turnover here. The Retrievers in possession.
Talk about his dad, who is 5'4", was a great player, George Washington, and they have just moved back to Baltimore. And mom and dad are both here tonight.
Saw him for the first time last game against Hartford here. First time in 20 years I've seen him. Looks exactly the same, although you really can't tell with the mask on.
He'd be hard to guard, though, still. I promise you that.
Oh, he's still got it. Jim Ferry, first season as UMBC head coach, but over 300 wins in his career. And talk about what a season it's been for Stony Brook. How about for UMBC?
Yeah, I mean, they went through, they played a really tough non-conference schedule. They had a win at Pitt early in the year, which was a big deal, especially to Jim Ferry. There's an offensive foul.
On Roberts.
Because he coached in Pittsburgh at Duquesne,
right,
for a number of years. And then came the COVID stoppage that almost everybody has dealt with. They missed 15 straight days of practice, didn't play a game for 25 days, and they were a little rusty coming out of the COVID break. But then they picked it up, won 6 in a row before the last road trip. So they sit tied for third right now in the conference after a 1-4 start.
I mean, how often do you see a team have a 5-game losing streak and a six-game winning streak in the same season? Rogers gets the turnover here.
Rogers a little upset, but he slipped and his foot slid. And as I've mentioned before, that wouldn't have been a travel in November. But now the officials are starting to call traveling as traveling, which the NCAA didn't want. It'll be interesting to see what happens in March.
You saw Gino Ford a moment ago, the head coach at Stony Brook, as Roberts on the missed jumper. And Ford had some big shoes to fill. Jeff Bowles took the job at Ohio University. Bowles took over for Steve Eichel, who did a great job, who's now at Rutgers. But the Stony Brook machine rolls on in Long Island.
Now they continue to be solid. They'll be in the Sun Belt Conference next year, which was a move made for football, like most conference realignments are. Nobody from UMBC got to that pass, neither Wojcik or Bunyasith.
Tyke Green took advantage.
Ends up with an easy dunk once he caught the ball.
For Stony Brook, Green 12 points, 7.5 rebounds per game. Green now with 5 points here in this one. We're tied at 13 with 12:35 to play. Jacob Bunyasith into the basketball game. That one off the back of the rim.
Retrievers cold from 3 other than Owens starting out here. And again, very aggressive drive by
Roberts.
Yeah, it was Roberts.
LJ Owens for 3, and he's 3 for 3. Single-handedly keeping the Retrievers afloat.
Afloat and keeping their three-point numbers semi-respectable.
He's 3 for 3. The rest are 1 for 4.
The only other 3 that the Retrievers hit was Darnell Rogers in transition.
Juan Felix Rodriguez, a redshirt junior from Lawrence, Massachusetts, in the game, and a turnover here.
That was a bad pass by Green.
Owens inside for Bunyasith. And the Retrievers now lead it by 3. Jacob Bunyasith, the transfer from American.
I still think Bunyasith's best basketball is played when he drives the ball rather than shoots it from outside.
Omar Hobway has checked in, a transfer from Mount St. Mary's. Inside here for Green, working hard on Kennedy.
Green got that weak side rebound because the shot was so far off. It went all the way over the basket, right into his hands, and then he got fouled.
We'll pick it up at 11:20 left in the first half. Let's take a look here. Owens, the bounce pass for Bunyasith, and the layup is good.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Do you think any of us will look back in our lives and regret the things we didn't buy?
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Drive, the best pre-owned vehicles. Drive with 0.99.
Udemy. No matter how you say it, it's the top online learning destination.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Grab retirement by the reins.
Do you think any of us will look back in our lives and regret the things we didn't buy?
We're talking about closing. When you see us close, you see us give every
retirement to have fun. Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Because I ain't no. The Tournament, parts 5 and 6, Monday at 9 on ACC Network.
Panthers Wild, Friday on ESPN+.
Back at you here from the peak. UMBC on top of Stony Brook, 18-15. LJ Owens with 9 of UMBC's 18 points so far tonight. All right, so let's play a little of this game, John. If the season were to end today.
Yeah, if the season were to end today, we'd have a story. But this is the way it would line up. Vermont is going to be the #1 seed. NJIT is 8th right now. Binghamton, Albany 4 and 5. And UMBC right now 3. There's a 3-way tie for 2nd. New Hampshire on tiebreakers would be #2 against Mass Lowell. UMBC 3, Binghamton 4. They're all tied at the moment. Tiebreakers, there's 5 games left. So a lot's going to change between now and the end of the regular season in a couple of weeks.
I mean, you've got UMBC playing Vermont coming up at Hartford. What a road trip that'll be.
They have to play Binghamton again. So there's a lot left to be decided. And the other thing that's worth noting about that bracket, it's not really a bracket because they reseed based on who wins after round 1. And again, well, not after round 2 because there are only 2 teams left. But it's one of those deals where if the 8th seed were to beat Vermont, they would then play whomever the highest remaining seed was at that point, regardless of who it was.
So the bottom line is this. After Vermont at #1 and Stony Brook ineligible,
right,
1 loss separates 5 teams in the conference.
Yeah, and Maine is probably not going to get to play because they're solidly in 9th place.
Tyke Green at the line for 2. First one is good. Wojcik sits down, and Obeng Mensah back in the game for UMBC.
Terry does like to rotate his big guys.
He does.
Dmitry Spazievich actually got more than 8 minutes against UNH because UNH has all those big bodies. And Jim Ferry gave him some minutes. He did get 4 rebounds in 8 minutes.
Green 2 for 2. Stony Brook is pulled to within 1. Tyke Green, a transfer himself from Manhattan. Here's Johnson to the lane and banks it up and in.
Nice drive there by Johnson. Struggled a little offensively lately. But it was interesting talking to Gino Ford. He said the biggest difference he thinks Johnson has made in the starting lineup has been on defense. And there you see his length giving Policelli some trouble.
But the putback up and in from Roberts.
But he thinks at 6'7" as opposed to Jacob Unyasith at 6'4". He's a good on-the-ball defender, as we saw right there. And he thinks that's where Nathan Johnson has made a big difference. He's a good shooter, as we know, but the defense is what other coaches are noticing. And there's Owens again.
4 for 4 from downtown. It's a 4-point lead for UMBC. You know, watching Stony Brook, John, they're not a really big team. I'm talking about tall, but they're an excellent rebounding team.
Right, and it was rebounding that made the difference the first time these 2 teams played. 45-34 on the boards, and Gino Ford said the only real difference in the game, he said both teams were terrible offensively, and the numbers bear that out. He said, but we got some offensive rebounds down the stretch, and that's what allowed us to pull away and win. I mean, imagine UMBC scoring 51 points.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine with the 3-point shooters they have. That's the 5th turnover now for the Seawolves. The Retrievers have committed 3. Both of these teams pretty good ball handling teams. Jim Ferry likes to keep it to 10.
Right, and Stony Brook averages 10.
Here's Kennedy, ball fake, now drives the basket.
Euro step there.
I'd call that a Eurasian step. Here's Johnson inside, nothing there. Retrievers with a recycled 20, as you like to say. And underneath, it'll be on Obeng Mensah, the turnover. They call it a foul.
Yeah, no, they called him for charging, yeah. This is not a great offensive set for UMBC, and there you see he gets the elbow out, and that's why he was called for the charge. You know, happens every time.
And I get that. I didn't think it was egregious, but it was enough.
Well, and it was enough to make the defender smartly fall down.
Here's Roberts from 3.
He's tough to guard.
Inside and outside, yeah.
Exactly. He'll take it to the basket on you, and then he'll pull up and shoot that 3.
So Roberts leads Stony Brook with 9. Owens leads the game with 12.
And Spazievich is in the game.
Dmitry Spazievich, a transfer from East Carolina. Has seen his playing time diminish. Left-handed hook won't go.
Well, and that's why right there. He gets into such good position in the post and struggles to finish.
Had his wisdom teeth pulled and missed a couple games, and the alley-oop for Sales from Roberts.
Roberts is so dangerous, not only because he can score, but he sees the floor so well.
How about Sales with 6 early? 3 of 4 from the field for Jaden Sales, averages 5 points per game coming in.
Well, playing a lot more minutes now.
Give and go back to Spasojevic off glass.
Good for him.
And the Retrievers back in the lead.
Sales playing a lot more minutes since Elijah Olaniyi left the team.
Well done, John.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to say it more than once.
Roberts again to the basket. Will not get the roll.
Rare non-finish. Good defense there by Spasojevic.
Kennedy grabs it for UMBC. All time, Stony Brook 26-14 leads the series, but the Retrievers have won 3 in a row here at UMBC. Johnson, corner 3. Got it, and draws the foul.
That was just poor defense. He was left wide open, and then the defender came to guard him too late and fouled him.
This is the 3rd or 4th time this year where he's drawn a foul on a 3-pointer.
You can't leave him open. I don't know why Jim Ferry was allowed to pull his team over there.
Take a look here.
Watch here. He's wide open, and here comes Diallo way late and piles right into him. That's just not smart basketball.
First foul on Mohamed Diallo, who was checked in, 6'6" junior from Harlem, New York.
Guarantee you Gino Ford is not happy about that play. It's one thing to leave a guy open. It's another thing to give him an extra point.
Largest lead of the night for either team. And Johnson now with 6.
My 11-year-old daughter, who plays 5th grade basketball, knows if you run at a shooter, you do it on a diagonal.
Matteo Piccarelli, a native of Milan, Italy, is checked in for UMBC. Good 3-point shooter. Sails a 2-pointer, mid-range jumper, goes off glass and in.
Shooter's roll there. Rim glass and in.
And right now, I would say the surprise story for Stony Brook is Sales.
Well, as I said, getting a lot more minutes now.
8 points. Spasojevic will take it to the basket and lays it in.
Two field goals for Spasojevic. It's the most he's had in a while.
They can get the big guy going. Here's a turnover. Hobway tried to get by Spasojevic.
Well, he tried to get by Johnson. And Johnson, as Gino Ford said, played very good defense. Caused the turnover.
Take a look at some high wire acrobatics here from Jaden Sales. And it's so good, we'll see it again. Back at you here from the peak. UMBC on the campaign, 12 wins and 12 defeats. They've shot 48% in the 12 wins, John, 38 in the 12 losses. They're at 60% here tonight.
Well, and Gino Ford said if one team gets off shooting threes, the other team's going to be in trouble because neither team is great defensively. They both give up about 70 points a game. Stony Brook a little more, 73. They score 72. UMBC scores 72, and they give up under 70, 69.9. So that's under 70. First team to
Barely,
80 tonight might win after they both shot the ball so poorly the first time they played.
Here's Piccarelli for UMBC from the corner, and he drains it.
He was having one of those good shooting nights.
Now it's an 8-point lead for UMBC, the largest of the night.
They've already made more threes tonight than they made up at Stony Brook.
And for Piccarelli now on the campaign, that is his 7th three-pointer in 14 attempts. Roberts with an answer. So Anthony Roberts, 40 last time against Maine.
And by the way, he's a junior, not a senior. He's going to be a good player in the Sun Belt Conference.
Here's Johnson all the way, uses glass and lays it in.
A nice move, used his body to get in position, get squared up, and get the ball off the glass.
It's a 7-point lead for UMBC. Johnson now with 8. As you mentioned earlier, been struggling the last 2 or 3 games, but definitely a solid addition to that starting lineup.
That looked like a walk.
Leaning inside, though, and putting it in the basket is Juan Felix Rodriguez.
Different players playing the point at different times for Stony Brook because Jalil Jenkins, who's been their point guard, has been gone. He's gone probably for the season.
Rodriguez, a JUCO All-American last year at Monroe Community College.
Stony Brook now in his zone. Good block from behind there by Green.
Tyke Green can do it all.
It's the undersized monster there.
And let's see which way, out of bounds off Piccarelli.
They broke up the fast break.
So 26 on the shot clock here for Stony Brook. Basically a full possession, trailing by 5.
Because the clock wasn't under 20, it just stays at 26. So it's not recycled.
Ball in here for Stony Brook. Honors being done by Felix Rodriguez. Roberts on a drive, double teamed as Spazajevich cuts off the baseline.
They'll come and double team him every chance they get.
Swing it around for Green. I think that did touch rim.
It just grazed the rim, yes.
Here's Roberts with a one-hander. Anthony Roberts will go to the line.
That's what Jim Ferry meant when he said Roberts scored 40 on Sunday like it was nothing.
I got news for you, John. He's on pace.
No, I mean, he's a very good offensive player on a hot streak.
Anthony Roberts with 14 tonight. He had 68 in his previous 2 games. So now in less than 2.5, he's got 82 points. Free throw is no good.
Jim Ferry giving a piece of his mind to the officials, notably Mike Milione there. Not sure what that was about. Stony Brook again in the zone.
Johnson looking for a crease. He's tied up.
And Johnson got bailed out there because he drove right into a double team. And drew the foul.
Jim Ferry not happy.
No, Gino Ford's less happy right now. It's only the 3rd team foul, though. Officials have let the guys play here, which is, I always like. Gino Ford's not liking it right now.
Rogers with the ball fake gets free. Rim and glass no good. Rebound for Roberts. Roberts looking to create. Roberts going to take it all the way. Roberts. It goes. 16 for Anthony Roberts.
How did he make that one? Leaning back with one hand. That was just, nothing wrong with the defense there.
How about this one? The leader from Darnell Rogers.
That's a unique way of getting into the creases of the defense and finding his shot.
It's a 3-point game. Back and forth, up and down. Here we go. Roberts gets a screen from Sales. Now back to Sales. Stripped by Spazajevich. And let's see which way.
They call timeout. And that's not a bad timeout to take your use it or lose it this deep into the half to keep possession.
So Tyke Green hits the floor and keeps possession.
They'll have 16 seconds on the shot clock when they come back.
So everything we thought about this game, imagine if Stony Brook was still eligible
Yeah.
This game would be huge for both teams.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And it's funny because I said to Gino Ford yesterday when we talked, I said, how are you doing? And he says, well, I'm working with the crew of what can we make up a cause for today. Make up as our cause today.
That little chip on the shoulder today.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do. Like, okay, we can't play in a tournament. We can't win the regular season. So let's just beat as many teams as we can. And maybe the school will pay for them to play in the CIT. It's the school leaving the conference is the reason they can't play. So give the kids a break, for crying out loud, if they finish second. They're 15-10 overall, 7-5 in the league. Do something for the student athletes, as administrators like to say. This is all for the student athletes. Okay, prove it.
16 points for Anthony Roberts. He leads the game, as he has the last 2 games. We're seeing a redux here from Anthony Roberts. Whoa. And a turnover.
Good defense there.
L.J. Owens on top of him.
And Roberts thought the ball was going to be called off Owens, but Mike Leone, maybe after getting a lecture from Jim Ferry, gives UMBC the ball.
2, 3, 4, and then out of bounds. Retrievers up by 3, 4:15 to play in the half.
Brook's still in that 2-3 zone.
And Spasojevic still in the game, seeing the most extensive action in quite a while.
He's played well, although he didn't catch the ball there. Well, not a great pass.
Not a lot of spacing there for Owens and Spasojevic.
He did run back and break up the transition.
Rodriguez, deep 3 straight away. Kennedy, who's been quiet offensively, but a good floor game today.
One thing about Keandre Kennedy is he rarely forces anything. He can create his own shot better than anybody on his team, but he doesn't force things.
Rogers.
Nice pass, nice block.
Johnson, own rebound. Second time won't go, but he draws it.
Sales blocked the first one, but Johnson got it back and got fouled. He has a knack for that.
I'll tell you one thing about Johnson that's overlooked, his quickness.
He's
flashed through the lane.
Good to the basket.
Nathan Johnson will be at the line when we return.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Grab retirement by the rank. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Check out this Verbo. Come on. Now
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Grab retirement by the rank. Why wait until retirement to have fun? Grab retirement by the rank.
There is no one that can measure up to the homeowner like Cross Country Mortgage can.
Stuff. We love stuff. And there's some really great stuff out there.
Why wait until retirement to have fun? Tastyworks IRAs allow you to direct.
Survival of the fit, only the strong survive.
Do you think any of us will look back in our lives and regret the things we didn't buy?
Udemy. No matter how you say it, it's the top online learning destination.
They said it couldn't be done, but somehow Cross Country Mortgage was able to close this home in
Back at you here from the peak. There's the student section called Hilltop Hysteria. Take a look at the hats on the top of their heads. It's 90s night here tonight. The AD, Brian Barrio, has picked the music list. But, John, let me ask you, back in the 90s, I'm talking about the 1990s,
not the 1890s?
Not the 1890s.
Okay.
What do you remember most or best? Maybe it's college basketball, maybe it's something else from the 1990s.
I'm not sure I remember the 19. You know what I remember from the 1990s? Having my first 2 children.
There you go.
Danny was born in 1994, Bridget in 1997. And nothing, as you know, changes your life more than having children, especially your first and your second. So.
And I had my 2 in 93 and 94, so they're 28 and 27.
There you go. Mine are just turned 28 and 24. And then, of course, I have Jane, who's 11, who was my late gift. Sometimes I say from God, and my wife, Christine, says, I went through labor, not God. 26 hours worth, by the way.
How they do it is beyond me.
There's no way the men could have babies.
So much respect.
There's absolutely no way we could do it. Not in a million years. By the way, I should correct myself. I said earlier that Stony Brook was leaving for the Sun Belt. They're leaving for the CAA to upgrade their football and to play basketball there. And of course, the CAA is losing their best football team, James Madison, who is moving, I think, to the Sun Belt.
We should also mention that Stony Brook has been in the CAA for football.
Right.
So now they'll become a full member of the conference.
Exactly.
Johnson, 1 of 2. The Retriever lead is 4.
And they're good FCS football. They've been a good FCS football program. They've been a good basketball program for a long time. Exit 62 on the Long Island Expressway, if you're wondering.
There you go. Johnson tonight, good game. 9 points, 4 rebounds. Has been a 10-point-per-game scorer since coming into the starting lineup.
And as Gino Ford said, plays good defense. That's a walk.
Yeah. That'll be called on Rodriguez. Another turnover for Stony Brook, number 8 in the game. More than Gino Ford would like, I am sure.
Well, his team average is 10 a game, so 8 is a lot. I'm sure he's saying 8 is enough.
I think good call. I think Gino wanted a foul on that one.
He did.
Kennedy up top, Rogers. He'll take it if it's given. Passes it off for Kennedy. 3 ball.
That's what I mean about Kennedy. He never takes a shot, almost never takes a shot that isn't squared up.
That is the Retriever's 8th three-pointer tonight. It's a 7-point lead.
That's 3 more than they made in the entire game up at Stony Brook. 5 for 26.
You'll see 8 for 12. A little leaner in the lane for Green. He'll go to the line.
Contact. He got hit on the wrist.
Retriever fouls on number 15.
That'll be on Obeng Mensah.
Second personal foul, team spin.
Let's go back one play earlier. Keandre Kennedy from the wing.
And she's got a defender coming up on him, but he's squared up, and he knows he can make the shot. Rarely takes a bad shot. A poor shot is one that doesn't go in. A bad shot is one you shouldn't take, in my vernacular.
Tyke Green. Here's a stat you won't see often.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Top 5 for Tyke Green. Number 1 rebounder in the conference.
Yep.
Number 5 steals in the conference.
Well, because he's only about 6'2".
Yeah, shows your versatility there.
Undersized monster, as Jim Ferry says.
2 for 2. Piccarelli back in the game for UMBC. Retrievers have 5 excellent three-point shooters on the floor right now.
Of course, Anthony Roberts is a not undersized monster.
Stony Brook in the zone. Rogers.
I'm always surprised when he misses when he's open. Expected to go in.
In the hands of Green so quick.
Very good defense there by Kennedy. Almost forcing a turnover.
Had a bounce off Rogers underneath. 22 to shoot for the Seawolves.
Kennedy did what basketball players are told to do all the time on that play. He did not give up the baseline. You hear it said all the time, oh, he gave up the baseline. He did not.
Here's Green. 3 players to battle.
I don't know how he got that shot up.
He's got long arms, I'll tell you that.
He does. He was very well guarded. Draws a foul from Johnson, who also has long arms.
Take a look.
Watch here. Johnson coming from behind. And his jumpy hits him just on the wrist. It's a little bit ticky-tack, but there's a lot of contact in there.
Tyke Green's first free throw is good. You know, here's something interesting. He's a 50% shooter from the field. Excellent. He's a 40% shooter from distance. Fantastic. He's only a 60% shooter from the free throw line.
You know, you see that stat. He makes 2 out of 2 there. But you see that stat with players more and more as time goes on. You know why that is? Because nobody practices free throws anymore. They practice threes.
Having said that, he's a perfect 6 for 6 tonight from the free throw line. Kennedy, ball fake, drives. Cut off by Policelli. Well done. Here's the give back for Kennedy. And the weak side pickup by Johnson, and he lays it in.
Johnson can do that. He's sneaky quick, as you noted earlier.
Nathan Johnson now with 11. Green over Kennedy. Buries it.
Leading rebounder in the league, and he can hit those shots with some consistency.
He is an exciting player, listed at 6'4" from Queens, New York.
I'm 6'4" too, by the way. He can't rebound as well as he can.
Nah, that's probably true. But back in the day, right, John?
Back in the day, I was an undersized monster. A lot of people called me a monster, but that had nothing to do with basketball.
Fade away by Owens baseline. That draws nothing.
Shot a 15-footer from 12 feet.
Anthony Roberts with the pull-up.
They need to move the ball before they shoot again.
Well, they like to shoot. Everybody does. Rodriguez.
They do. That was not a good shot, I didn't think.
Not a great possession, I didn't think.
No, neither shot was a particularly good shot. Didn't even look inside at all. Coaches will tell you the best three-point shots most of the time come after the balls touch the paint.
Jim Ferry off the bench says slow it down. That's what Darnell Rogers does. 10 to shoot. Owens left open from three.
Good shot.
5 for 5 from downtown.
How do you leave him open on the perimeter? Rogers goes in the lane. Somebody's got to be with that shooter.
And that ties a career high for L.J. Owens last month against UMass Lowell.
That's a 7th team foul on UMBC, so Roberts will shoot 1-1.
Anthony Roberts with 16, L.J. Owens with 15, Tyke Green with 14, and Nathan Johnson with 11.
Well, it's 40. UMBC is 4 points short of its total at Stony Brook. Scored 51 in the game. They got 47 now before halftime.
They shot 30% from the field in that game.
Yeah, and 5 out of 26 from 3, which is less than 30%.
It's less than 25%.
Yes, it is. You and I are both so good at math.
1 out of 2 for Green.
That's 50%. And Jim Ferry takes his use it or lose it timeout here.
So there's about a 2.5 second differential, game clock, shot clock, and Jim Ferry will draw it up on the sideline for UMBC.
And one thing he will tell his players is don't be trigger happy. Don't shoot with 3 seconds, 4 seconds on the shot clock, because that means there's more than 6 on the game clock. And they can easily get the ball up court and get off a decent shot.
You know, one thing we never talked about with Jim Ferry, before he got
Long Island guy, by the way, we should mention.
Before he got the first D1 job at LIU Brooklyn and took them to great heights, he had a D2 job in New York with the Delphi.
Right.
A 31-game winning streak in season.
Yeah.
And I asked him about that, and he says, you know, it was interesting. Duke had a 31-game winning streak that year also.
Got a little more notice.
A little bit more notice, but when the Duke streak went, they were still on their streak.
Right.
They took all the press in New York. He got on, you know, WFAN and all the papers and everything. He said it was one of the greatest experiences of his life.
And Mike Francesa said, Jim, I always knew you guys had it to put together a big streak. I've been saying it all year.
That's so true.
Mike always knew what was going to happen after it happened. By the way, Gino Ford also coached below the D1 level. And he coached, one place he coached was Muskingum, where his dad was a 5'7" All-American center.
No way.
Yeah.
Here we go. Rogers to the basket. Rogers will draw the foul with 8.5 on the clock.
Well, the good news is he gets to the line. The bad news is they've got 8.5 on the clock. Now, they won't be able to call a timeout because they've already taken their use it or lose it. Here you see, foul comes late. And Darnell does a good job with that, switching the ball to the left hand to force the foul from the left side. You know, Gino Ford said his dad played inside, even at 5'7", because his vision was so bad he couldn't see the basket clearly from outside, from the perimeter. And he somehow found a way to get his shots off and was an NAIA All-American.
You know, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better free throw shooter than Darnell Rogers.
Well, this team shoots very well as a team, 78%.
15th in the country, and they're on pace for the best ever single season for UMBC. Rogers, 90% from the free throw line this season.
See, that's good.
That's pretty good. But still, enough time here for Stony Brook. Underneath Green.
Oh, they got lucky there because Rodriguez lost control of the ball, and it went right into Green's hands. And he went to the basket and got fouled. Watch this. He loses the ball.
Shoot free throws.
And gets it back himself, actually. And gets it to Green, and Green gets hammered.
Tyke Green has been on the floor quite often tonight, actually.
He gets up, though, doesn't he?
He really does. Gets up off the floor and gets up in the air.
Yep, he does.
Tyke Green, 28 starts in the 2019-20 season at Manhattan. And then last year came over to Stony Brook. Second year in the program, and he's going to be here another year. Second one is no good. Looks like it was a push underneath. No call.
No call, but the ball goes to Stony Brook, so they can run a play here to try to get a last shot.
Enough time here to even catch and dribble.
What happened? There's some kind of warning there for Jim Ferry. I don't know what exactly for.
Ferry barking out the instructions. 1.5 left here. It's a ball fake from Hobway.
Oh, one pass too many.
Ooh, I wonder if he really knew how much time was left.
Oh, it's right there above the basket.
You would think. Regardless, UMBC, great first half here. Anthony Roberts, big part of that. A game high 17 points for Stony Brook, but it's the retreat.